Hello and welcome to PowerDrift. Today is a very special day because it's a retro edition of PowerDrift, and that means that my ironic hipster persona can really come out and play with the FZ-X. Dude, what up bro? Now, if you haven't, do subscribe because that's like the cool thing to do. And ringing the bell, well, that was the OG cool thing to do. So, why am I dressed like this? Well, first, I'm gonna occupy the couch. You see, today we are rebelling against the mainstream, and that's why the FZ-X is here. What has it rebelled against? Well, if you look at it, it's already rebelled against the design of the XSR 900, the design of the XSR 155. Hell, it didn't even leave its own little brother, the FZ, alone, and it rebelled against the musculature of that motorcycle too. And that's cool, right? But I think we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. Let's start at the very beginning, dude, because that's the hipster thing to do. Under the skin, and we'll come to the skin itself last, is the FZ. All of it, without any significant changes. Which means that the well-known, proven 12 bhp 150cc single is now pushing roughly 4 kilos of more weight through time and space. And while it looks like that, the time is the present, not the past. Although it can feel like you're riding a bike that's slow enough to feel retro sometimes. So what does that mean, dude? Well, Yamaha taking the FZ back to 150cc when version 2 came out was exactly the hipster thing to do. Everybody was moving to 160s, but Yamaha went against the flow, against the mainstream, and in some ways against logic. But that's done a few good things, because the FZ engine is really refined, and on the FZ-X, all Yamaha has done is work on the exhaust note, which has a little bit more character and there's a little bit more of a beat. The refinement levels on this engine have always been excellent, and you only have vibration problems if you're really maxing the FZ-X out. And if you're maxing the FZ-X out, you've got the wrong bike, bro! Because the beauty of the FZ-X is evidently mostly to those who swill organic, cold brew, decaffeinated, single origin coffee, and it's in their veins. As in, chill. It's got enough performance to keep up with and past most city traffic. But with a V-Box tested top speed under 100 km an hour, outright speed is not the FZ-X's T. So the frame, it's all FZ, and that means this is friendly and responsive. Bro, sort of like hipsters at an Occupy event. But the new handlebar, it has a decent steering feel, which means the always happy frame is eager to respond to your inputs. But do remember, bros, that cornering is easy, but it's different because you sit upright thanks to the forward set pegs and this new handlebar. Ride quality is familiar. The FZ is pretty smooth over most roads, and only the largest bumps really interrupt its flow. Very nice. The brakes again are no surprise. The front lever feel could be better, but it certainly works. I did feel like the ABS came in a little too early, even when I was being progressive with the effort, but there's nothing to complain about. And as usual, I continue to rail against the single channel ABS rule, because that's just silly. Rule makers, my bros, you really thought that through. Where the FZ-X feels the nicest is once you're sitting on it, because it's got a wide cushy seat. The tank is a little bit wider than you expect, so if you're buying skinny jeans, buy the ones with Lycra, it will help you here. So you sit upright, tall handlebar, a nice clear digital dash. This feels good. One caveat though, remember a soft seat and long distances are not the best of friends. So if you're going to ride this a long distance, you're probably going to have a bit more of a butt ache than usual. Apart from ABS, you can opt to have Yamaha's Y-Connect suite, which means Bluetooth connectivity. The App Store listing itself is a bit confusing because there are other apps called Y-Connect. But the rest of it is exemplary smooth in terms of pairing, and once paired, you get the usual set of features: fuel economy tracker, parking location, and what have you. A big miss is push navigation, although it would mean a lot more work on the dash to display the arrows and distances and stuff. So maybe later. But chill bro, in the days before satellite navigation, we used paper maps to navigate, right? Just do that. Honestly, as much as I'm dressed in these duds and I do love this Pink Floyd tee, I don't really get hipsters or this silly trend of forced retro motorcycles. But that's okay. Design is a personal choice and you're okay to have a divergent opinion. Maybe you're just woke than I am, bro. But the problem with the FZ-X is that it chose form over function, and it's caused a whole bunch of fundamental issues, especially because this form is slightly ungainly and disproportionate from many angles. You see, the XSR 900 had the luxury of a large engine and a perimeter frame to mold the retro tank and panels around. The XSR 155, based on the R15, also had a radiator and a perimeter frame for this. The FZ-X is air-cooled and has a steel cradle, which means the challenge for the designers to resolve the retro lines becomes harder because the engine is tiny, but the bike wants to be large. So distinctive, yes, that blue, love it. The design, not so much bro, but let's sum this up. The FZ-X is a very pleasant motorcycle to walk around the city on, there's absolutely no doubt about it. But when you consider the price increment to the FZ, I find that a little bit hard to digest. On the other hand, when you think about all the other 160s, they make significantly more power, that's 12.5 bhp, and the RTR is making 17. So the FZ-X as a motorcycle, the proposition, it's odd at worst and peculiar at best. But what do you think? Let us know in the comments and stay tuned. That has raised so many questions that we've decided to make another video about it. So Varun Painter will be here and you're in for a surprise.